Hello everyone, welcome back to Command & Conquer. So as you can see, we now took over Estonia and we are advancing into Latvia and not advanced into the western Ukraine and western Romania. For now we have only one mission to select from, so here we go.
I know I promised more deep background on Kane and Nod, but there'll be time for that later. Carter says you hit the ground fighting. Nice job. Now we need that again. Somewhere in this section is a Nod base. It's protected against airstrikes by Nod SAM sites. Knock them out so Colonel Morelli can provide air support. That should make it easier for you to take out the base. I'll be out of the loop for a couple of days doing civvy time at the UN. Don't let me down.
Okay, here we go. So as you can see, we're playing in a higher resolution now. And the reason for that is that the first maps are really small. So if you play them in really high resolution, all you get is like some graphical glitches because the maps will actually be smaller than the screen. But from now on the maps will be large enough so I can play them in high resolution. So here we go. And as you can see, we have a new type of unit, namely this Grenadier here. And the Grenadiers, they throw grenades, obviously, and they are way better at fighting infantry, vehicles, and pretty much everything. The grenades are good against pretty much everything. But the downside is, if a Grenadier gets killed, will die violently, so I'm just going to demonstrate that. Yeah, you could see that big explosion. And the downside of that is that if a Grenadier explodes, it will also injure the other units around him, and if that happens, and those units happen to be other Grenadiers, and those units are going to die as well. And so you can have a group of maybe like 10 or 15 Grenadiers. One of them gets killed, and they all just explode, so that is really annoying. We don't want that to happen, so that's why I'm not the biggest fan of Grenadiers. So I still can't buy any vehicles, so I'm going to preserve these Humvees I've got here. Ooh, that's a lot of Nod guys, so let's retreat. And as you can see here, there's a SAM site here. These SAM sites, they're obviously anti-air. There are a couple of air units in this game, but these SAM sites are mainly used against airstrikes. So when you have airstrikes, you get a little power here where you can like order an airstrike against the base. And later on you'll also get not only one plane for your airstrike, you'll get multiple, and that's pretty powerful. But the downside is to get these airstrikes with GDI, Nod doesn't have them, you need to dispose of all these SAM sites. And the problem with that is that these SAM sites, they're scattered all over the map, and you need to destroy every single one of them. Every single one of them. So, and that means that when you destroy the last SAM site, which is usually close to the Nod base, or often in the Nod base on the respective map you're currently playing, then you've basically already won the mission and there's no real need for those airstrikes anymore. So airstrikes are often kind of superfluous because you can't really utilize them. And as you can see, we've also built a radar dish, and that radar dish, or I think it's called a communication center, communication center, allows us to, wow, that's a lot of bazooka soldiers, allows us to see the radar here. That's pretty useful because it eases keeping an eye on the map, and if you don't play in high resolution, which the players back in the mid-90s obviously couldn't do, and I couldn't do when I played this game for the first time about 20 years ago, then you want that communication station even more. And here's another SAM site, so let's just destroy it. And what you could also see were those bazooka soldiers. Those bazooka soldiers, they are pretty good against tanks and vehicles, not very good against infantry. but they're still pretty vulnerable, just like any other infantry. So, and they cost $300, so I don't really like them all that much. I'd rather buy a tank for $600 or $800, depending on what kind of tank you buy, than 2 bazooka soldiers. So yeah, not a big fan again, but I'm not a big fan of infantry in general because they're kind of underpowered in this game, which might be realistic if you depict infantry against a tank, but then again in real life the cost of training one soldier doesn't exactly equal the cost of like building half a tank, so you probably could like field a couple of dozen soldiers before you build even a single vehicle. So yeah, but this game is not a like realistic military simulator or anything. So I built 2 refineries to get some nice and decent income. I could build those Tiberium silos, but they're not really needed. Mostly because if you have money, you should spend it. You shouldn't just sit around and gather money. There's no real point in doing that. I think I'm going to destroy this harvester soonish. But the thing is, if you destroy an enemy's harvester, then the enemy will get completely berserk and will throw everything at you that it has. So yeah, the AI doesn't like to attack harvesters because obviously attacking harvesters is an easy way to disrupt your enemy's chain of supplies. And I'm just going to ignore that gun turret for now. That's why the AI reacts like that. So come on, attack that guy. Yeah, your units, they're not best at defending themselves. And there we go. Let's kill all these guys here. As you can see, the AI is sending everything it has at me, but that's why I built this ridiculously large horde of infantry. So let's destroy these gun turrets. The GDI does have an equivalent to the gun turret, that the like a guardhouse. It has pretty short range, but it's very effective against infantry. Still not my favorite structure, mainly because it has such short range. And wow, Nod is spamming infantry, so let's destroy the Hand of Nod. There we go. And let's also build the construction yard, because obviously you need construction yards to build any buildings. So this construction yard destroyed, the AI can't rebuild any buildings. But the AI is cheating, obviously. So because this is a pretty old strategy game, so it's pretty much necessary. The AI can see the entire map. The AI can actually like use harvesters to attack. AI harvesters, they have twice as much money, and I should really build infantry because I can only store so much money in a refinery. And the AI can also rebuild any structure anywhere, as long as it has one construction yard. It can even directly build construction yards. It doesn't really need a construction vehicle for that, which is basically cheating. As you can see, when I build a power plant, or any building in fact, it has to be adjacent to one of my other buildings. The AI doesn't have that restriction. The AI can build, or rather rebuild any building, and doesn't really need to pay attention to where it actually built those buildings. So if the AI still had a construction yard and I would destroy this power plant, the AI could rebuild it even though this power plant isn't close to any structure, except for these sandbags. Yeah, but you can actually buy and build buildings close to sandbags, so that's quite an elegant way to stretch out your base a little bit. So you can build, let's say, a couple of... Whoa, where do all these guys come from? Oh, you're returning back to base? Oh, now you do. So you can build a couple of sandbags and then build like a defense structure right next to those sandbags, so you can avoid having your defense structures too close to... There's one more guy. Too close to your actual base, because obviously you want to stop the enemies before they reach your actual base. Let's build some Grenadiers just because they're expensive and I need to spend some money. So let's first smoke out all the SAM sites on this map before we build any more, before we destroy that refinery. I also want to show you the airstrike. The airstrike isn't all that powerful initially, but later on you get multiple airplanes for an airstrike, and the enemy also get that. So when you play as Nod, you really want to watch out where those airstrikes go. But luckily there's like a method to like kind of trick those planes, but I'll show that later. So this is a civilian town. I could use force fire to destroy these buildings, but I'm playing the GDI with the good guys, so we're not going to do that. Instead, I'll just look over here. But as Nod, you can always destroy those buildings, because Nod, they're pretty much evil, at least in this game, and they do have, yeah, they're better terrorists, so they use message of terror, and they like to destroy civilian structures and then blame it on GDI. That's one of Kane's favorite tactics. Oops, sorry for killing you. Yeah, no, I'm Terror Commander. But yeah, more on that later. So let's just keep searching. We have to destroy these sites anyway, so I might as well do that before destroying that refinery. So there's probably another SAM site over here. So what I also like about the Command & Conquer games, that there's no real fog of war. There's of course this shroud of war you can't see through, but once you uncover it, it always stays uncovered, and I kind of like that mechanic. It makes it of course easier to see what the enemy is up to, but also makes exploring more rewarding, and I kind of like it. So I wonder where that last SAM site is. Maybe it could be here. So let's check that out. Let's send some guys over here just in case it's down there. Where are you going? Yeah, the pathfinding in this game isn't the best, but it's solid. It's better than some other games. So yeah, here we go. So let's just kill it. Yeah, one other advantage of Grenadiers is that Grenadiers can throw grenades over sandbags and walls and also up cliffs. That can be pretty useful from a tactical point of view in certain missions. But I still don't like Grenadiers. Let's just keep on building units. There we go. And now I have got the airstrike. So let's just save here, because you always have to save during missions. The game doesn't automatically create a save game after every mission, so be sure to save in missions. So let's do that. GDI. Mission 3 ending. Here we go. And let's attack this refinery.
Select target.
There comes my plane. As you can see, it took out about like maybe a third of the health of the refinery. Not totally amazing, but pretty useful against a cluster of units, and way more useful once you get more planes later on. So let's finish this.
Unit lost.
Come on.
Mission accomplished.
There we go. Of course, in the cutscene, this attack is way more awesome, and the planes look like sharks. And 3 planes destroyed an entire base. That's never going to happen. 3 planes can maybe take down like a power plant, or if you're lucky, an arms factory, but yeah, I'm sorry, but your units will always be way cooler in cutscenes than they are in the actual game. But same goes for the enemy, so I guess that's good. So my efficiency was super low, probably because I sacrificed about 1 billion infantry to win this mission. But that's okay with me, I don't care for the score. So thanks for watching, I hope you join me next time, and see you then. Goodbye.